Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to a brand new explainer. Today we are unpacking an absolutely incredible multiverse love story that perfectly merges this epic cosmic scope with some intense real-world publication drama. We're looking at Claudia Reid's mesmerizing work, The Man Who Murdered Me 7 Times. Now this is a story that goes way beyond your typical sci-fi tropes, diving deep into time loops, probability, and what actually happens when the universe itself begins to evolve. And as you'll see, the story of how this IP is making its way to the world is almost as captivating as the fiction itself.
Here's how we're going to map out our journey today. 1. Meet the multiversal family. 2. The evolution of patterns. 3. A 4-act cosmic journey. 4. The real-world resurrection. And 5. The 2026 production pipeline.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1. Meet the multiversal family.
So our starting point is a family dealing with living realities where a man is literally murdered 7 times. And the cool thing is we aren't dealing with superheroes or chosen warriors here. We're dealing with a really grounded, intimate family unit that is suddenly exposed to this expanding multiverse. They act as the anchor for us, the audience, as their environment begins responding to them. Doors opening on their own, the walls starting to hum, that kind of thing.
What is really fascinating here is tracking their transformation from just ordinary people to the actual architects of a new cosmic age. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. The protagonist begins as this guarded survivor, deeply skeptical of these early temporal fractures, but slowly becomes the bridge between human experience and cosmic evolution, ultimately realizing that identity isn't fixed, it's chosen. Then you have the partner, who starts as the emotional anchor and moral compass, but is forced to evolve into a literal co-architect of reality. And finally, the child. Starting from a place of pure innocence, the child is actually the first to understand the universe emotionally, eventually becoming the successor, representing the exact future that the universe actually wants.
Moving right along to Section 2, the evolution of patterns.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that these patterns aren't just your standard sci-fi ghosts or hallucinations. They are literally evolution itself learning how to communicate. When the story kicks off, the family experiences what they think is just a shared hallucination, or maybe an inherited memory, but they quickly realize something is actively observing them. Not in a malicious way, but almost like a scientist studying its very own creation.
You can really see how these anomalies escalate. They start out as just a simple memory that doesn't quite belong, like a tiny, intimate time stutter. But then it snowballs. They start showing the family futures that might happen. It's all about probability, not a fixed prophecy, which immediately raises the stakes for everyone. As the story goes on, these patterns evolve from mere instinct into full-blown awareness. They store memories of every single possible version of the family, including lives they never even lived. And then the real turning point hits. The patterns start acting completely without permission. They test boundaries, they distort time loops, and they push the narrative from a standard thriller into some incredibly deep, uncharted philosophical territory.
Which brings us to Section 3. A 4-act cosmic journey.
This timeline gives us a perfect look at how the story escalates. In Act 1, The Awakening, we get those first bizarre disturbances and identity fractures. Then in Act 2, Expansion, the multiversal logic is fully revealed, the patterns evolve, and the worlds themselves actually begin responding to the family's emotional states like a living, breathing organism. By Act 3, Convergence, realities are totally overlapping, and the moral stakes hit their absolute peak as the future begins choosing its path. And finally, in Act 4, The New Age, a successor emerges, and the family is forced to face the heavy truth of their actual role in the cosmos.
And that brings us right to the climax of Act 3, specifically Chapter 19, The Throne That Waits. The cosmic seat of creation finally reveals itself. But the brilliant twist here is that it's not shown as some shiny symbol of ultimate power or dominance. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It represents this massive, overwhelming multiversal responsibility. The family realizes they are no longer just the center of the story, they're the precedent for all of existence.
Which leads directly into Chapter 25, The Day the Future Chose. As the worlds align and the patterns gear up for the final decision, the actual ending is kept totally under wraps in the script. It's the ultimate cliffhanger, right? It leaves us entirely in suspense about what this new successor being, part human, part pattern, is actually going to do. Now let's pivot to something equally wild. Section 4. The real-world resurrection.
Because behind this incredible fiction is a really tumultuous real-world journey. The creator faced a massive procedural hurdle getting this out there. The story was actually written in 2023 during what she described as the absolute lowest point in her life, channeling some deeply raw emotion into the work. It was initially published on Amazon, but after 2 years it hit a massive roadblock and was taken down. But, taking matters into her own hands, the creator resurrected the project independently, moving the whole shebang over to Google Play and Patreon just to ensure the story survived.
And the reason for that takedown? Algorithmic discomfort. Yep, Amazon actually asked to verify the author's identity and then just neutrally wipe the book catalog because of a link to one of her past controversial works of fiction titled The Crusty Crucifixion. It is a slightly absurd but very real look at modern publishing today, where past controversial works can trigger automated systems, causing algorithms to just wipe a slate clean regardless of what's actually inside the new book. But honestly, despite that digital roadblock, the emotional weight of this story just couldn't be silenced. It's wild that commentators and early readers have literally attributed the mystical nature of this material to a higher power, leaving comments saying it was authored by the God of I Am. I mean, that speaks volumes about the profound, deeply emotional well this story was drawn from back in 2023. It really is a testament to how raw human experience translates perfectly into compelling cosmic fiction.
So, where is this phenomenal script heading next? Section 5, the 2026 production pipeline.
The creator is honestly executing a masterclass in Hollywood pipeline strategy right now. The script we've been talking about isn't even fully finished yet. It's right in the middle of the writing process. And she is intentionally holding it back from being pitched right now. Why? Because she's building a massive slate and tactically submitting other major shows first. Projects like Blood on the Deeds and a 5-season show called Queen's Village are actively being shopped to major managers and studios to pave the way and establish her footprint in the industry.
Which brings us to this highly specific target date, August 2026. That is the exact moment when this multiverse script will finally be unlocked and pitched to the industry. By holding it back, the creator is ensuring that when it finally drops, the foundation is already rock solid, maximizing the impact of this deeply personal and highly conceptual IP.
The creator operates by this incredibly fitting mantra. They are not just participants, they are catalysts. And just like her protagonist, who transitions from a skeptical survivor to a true partner of creation, the creator herself isn't just passively participating in the Hollywood system. She is actively catalyzing her own success, basically forcing the industry to adapt to her timeline.
It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? As the worlds align in Chapter 25 and the patterns prepare for their final decision, the ending remains this closely guarded secret. We know the origins will be questioned, we know a new successor will emerge, but how will the realities ultimately fracture or fuse? We won't actually know until the final pages are complete and the curtain is completely pulled back in August 2026. So what do you think that final choice is going to be? Keep that in mind as we watch this IP develop over the next couple of years. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.